We are live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Empire State of Baseball. This is episode number 155, airing on March 9th of the year 2026. We are airing on Instagram, X, YouTube, and powered by StreamYard. Well, here we go, guys. We're officially more than a full week into the month of March. We are in WBC season. We are in United States season. Let's go USA. Looks like all four of us rocking some form of a USA hat here. Mets and Yankees themed, but with the stars and stripes there. Rich, how you doing tonight?
Unfortunately, I wasn't Puerto Rican enough to root for a different team today, but I got Team USA all the way. So, yes, we're in a bit of competition right now, but in a good way because it's for a good cause. USA versus Mexico is just getting underway. So, we'll see if the USA can go and mount a 3-0 lead in pool play, and which would effectively put them one step closer to the quarterfinals. So, Joe, starting with you. How are we feeling today?
Feeling good. USA Mexico. I got it on my split screen, so I'll have updates as we go. And hopefully we will have some good news as we progress through this game. But Paul Skeens pitching today, premier pitching matchup, should be a great night. There's nothing else on tonight. This is it. So like this should be a nice rating for Major League Baseball or WBC or whoever controls this thing. And
a terrible rating for us.
And a terrible rating for us. But we'll have updates. We'll keep you posted as everything progresses during the game.
Joe, Corey, what's it like rooting for Aaron Judge? Pretty fun, isn't it?
I will say it when you get to root for him and you're not going against him, it feels pretty good. So
I can't. You guys got to root for Judge. You got to root for Schwarber, for Harper. That's a little bit of a tough ask for you guys.
Hey, listen.
We got a couple of guys though. We got a couple. Clay Holmes looked really good the other night.
McLean might pitch the final. Tom's going to become the biggest Nolan McLean fan on the East Coast if he gets to the final.
I got nothing against Nolan McLean.
Me neither.
We'll get to it, but the fact that that's already slotted it and to potentially win the biggest baseball tournament in the world, and you're starting a guy who has 6 major league starts is laughable, but we'll get there.
Look, he's not a top 20 pitcher. Well, I was just about to say he's not a top 20 pitcher according to some people, but yes, I'll be rooting for McLean. And think about the marketability. If we get to a USA Japan rematch, Shohei Ohtani versus Cowboy Ohtani as a possible pitching matchup in that one.
I don't know if we're leading with that, but sure.
Well, let's not
you get to show off the number one pitching prospect in all of baseball.
I got nothing against it, but again, the fact that if this tournament really meant anything, he's not starting that game. I have no problem with being on the team and him pitching even like a game like tonight. Like sure, you want to pitch a pool play game, you want to maybe pitch a quarterfinal game, but the fact that if we're going to take this serious and that's who would be our final starter when I guess consensus the two best pitchers in the world are Americans it's just funny.
We'll get more into the WBC in a little bit. Of course, the fellas representing the patriotism of the United States with the red, white, and blue. Tom, what does Roback have? Roback have any good clothing for an affair like today?
They sure do. I'll be honest, the big USA collection comes out in the summer, closer to the 4th of July. But what did just come out, it seems earlier and earlier every year, their Azalea collection actually just started to come out yesterday. We are about a month away from that. Listen, we don't need to exactly push the azaleas and the master stuff right now, but I'll tell you what, it was pushing like 75 degrees out there and nothing would take you. Nothing feels better than being out in the warm, a nice Roback polo or some shorts. They got the Q-zips and the polo or the Q-zips and the hoodies, but today is pure short sleeve weather. It's going to be that way for the next couple days. So head over to Roback and stock up on those spring and summer items because it's here. Now, is it going to be like 40 degrees over the weekend? We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about it being 75 tomorrow. So roback.com, RHOBACK.com, promo code TWASPL15, get yourself 15% off your order.
Yeah, definitely go ahead and take advantage of it. I mean, like Tom said, the Azalea collection is really cool. I got several Azalea shirts I've collected over the years, so highly recommend. And they're super comfortable, so perfect for this time of year. But we do got a busy show tonight. All right, we're not going with our usual Empire Express. We're instead going around the world. Forget about New York City. We're going global tonight, around the world, to talk everything of World Baseball Classic. So it's going to be a whole show on WBC. We're going to have a really fun segment a little later tonight where we do our March Madness bracket, but this year's theme, WBC. And we're going to be ranking the top WBC uniforms, having them go head to head, and we'll see which WBC uniform comes out on top. But more to come on that a little later. And like I said, we're going to start with around the world tonight. So the story right now in baseball is the World Baseball Classic, which began last week. I believe it was last Wednesday was the first game, and really March 5th through March 17th is where this tournament's going on. So pretty much right in the middle of spring training. It's a weird time, but at the same time, it's a decent time. Because from a spring training standpoint, I'm at the point where I don't care about the games anymore. Usually the first week or so, I love throwing on the spring training games, see some of the young kids, the prospects, see guys get loose. And by this point, by March, I'm over already. I'm ready for opening day. So at least the WBC gives you a little bit of a different look. You're getting in some cases, some playoff style baseball. In some cases, it's just complete and utter blowouts. It might as well be a spring training game. But the game's going to get fun soon now, especially as we enter the second half of this week and start to get more into quarterfinal, semifinal, and ultimately championship play. Because the pool play will be a bit interesting. You got a couple of good games so far, but you also got some big time blowouts, which we'll get to in a moment. But again, WBC, it's a fun time. I know there's a little bit of controversy, who likes it, who hates it, but this is the sixth tournament, and it's event history. I think the debut was in 2006, I believe.
Yep.
So it's had a good run. This is the 20th year of WBC's existence, sixth tournament overall. So it's an overall pretty fun tournament.
Yeah, and listen, I'm enjoying it. I find it a little juice to preseason baseball, to spring training. It gives the games a little bit more meaning. Listen, so far, I think we're looking at a tournament of haves and have-nots at the moment. They're very clearly, to me, there are three teams above everybody else: the U.S., the Dominican Republic, and Japan. They're above everybody else. Yep. But Japan has showed some flaws in this tournament. The run differential is plus 16. The U.S. is plus 18. The Dominican is plus 29. The Dominican has won every game in a blowout. But at the same time, Japan has looked a little shaky. They went down to the wire with Korea. They even had they had some trouble with Australia. So it's not like Japan has run away and hid. They've played a couple close games. It's interesting. The most interesting pool is still Pool B, because Mexico and Italy are 2-0, the same as the United States, and the U.S. plays both teams the next 2 days. So we're going to find out, and I believe Italy and Mexico play each other today as well, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Mexico is playing the U.S., so Mexico's not playing.
I'm sorry. Italy is Italy playing tonight?
Italy's probably playing today. Oh yeah, I mean they'll play someone.
Anyway,
They played Great Britain in their last game, won 7-4.
Okay, so at the end of the day, Mexico's interesting because they've got plus 22 run differential. They've only given up 2 runs in the tournament in the first 2 games. That's going to be tonight's going to be a good measuring test for the U.S. They got a lot of pro players on that team. It's not like Brazil, where you just turn around. They got Jared Duran, Randy Arozarena, Aranda from Tampa Bay, Kirk, Rowdy Tellez. They got a good lineup of professional baseball players. So that's an interesting measure for the United States. I'm curious. I'm excited to see what happens tonight. But yeah, I've enjoyed it so far. My only complaint was when you play a team like Brazil. I mean, Brazil walked 14 batters in that game Friday. It was great to see Judge leading off with a home run. It got interesting in the middle of the game, but at the end of the day, that game was a snooze fest to watch. By the time you got into the 7th inning, it was tough. But other than that, I'm enjoying it, and I'm excited to see what's to come today, tomorrow, and into the quarters and semis.
And following along to some of our favorite players here, just pulling two together just for no apparent reason. Aaron Judge got off to a great start with the 2-run homer to get U.S. on the board against Team Brazil, as Joe made mention to before. Been pretty quiet since. Only 1 for 8 since that homer there for Aaron Judge, but the Team U.S. is going into tonight with a 2-0 lead, regardless of Judge's struggles over his last 8 at-bats. And then we look over to Juan Soto and the Juan Soto of the Dominican Republic and what he's done. And kind of funny, kind of a similar line, maybe with one more hit and a couple more times on base for Juan Soto there. But again, had another epic homer in the second game against the Kingdom of the Netherlands. A nice walk-off Sunday morning softball Mercy League home run, Corey Favs, which actually made me think about something as we're kind of going through the World Baseball Classic. And basically, as you mentioned before, this is kind of like the Empire Express, but for just a classic here. But I really wanted to take the time, not only today, but next week, to really dive deep into the WBC. So I look at a rule like that, the Mercy rule that they got in place, 15 after 5, 10 after 7. Is this something, Corey, and then the rest of the squad here, that you would like to see MLB adopt one day?
No. MLB, no. I think for a tournament like this, perfect. Makes perfect sense. Even for spring training, I got to say no, because in spring training, even if it's a complete blowout, you want guys to get loose. You want to give the kids a chance, the no-name guys a chance to break a roster. So I wouldn't even do it in a spring training game, let alone regular season. For a tournament like this, makes perfect sense. Sure, let's roll with it.
Yeah, baseball's been flirting a little too close to the Sunday morning softball line for my liking, with the runner on second base.
We're going to get the double bag soon, Joe. We're going to get the double bag.
You know what? Actually, the double bag, I don't mind. The double bag makes sense to me because you avoid collisions at first base. So I understand that. The runner on second on a mercy roll. I mean, what are we doing? The next, we're going to have designated runners. That stuff, we're flirting way too close to the line of Sunday morning men's league slow pitch softball. I really don't want to get any closer to that line in terms of Major League Baseball. For a tournament where there's pitch limit, where there's artificial limits on the number of pitches pitchers could throw at this point in spring training, yes, it makes total sense. The teams like Brazil and Panama and a couple of these other teams, Chinese Taipei, they're not coming back from 10-run deficits. It's not happening. So that makes sense. But other than that, no.
Yeah, completely agree.
I know you said an immediate no.
Yeah, I mean, it's an obvious no, but again, to Joe's point, if you would have asked anyone 10 years ago, would Major League Baseball put the ghost runner on second in extra innings, I think you would get equally as quick as a no. So
right.
I would hate it. I think no one would like it. No one likes the ghost runner either. I don't think. So I hope not. But I also agree for this tournament, in a tournament with the kind of the haves and the have-nots, to I think Joe's point. Also, those top 3 teams, but then there's a lot of other representative teams, like your Mexico's, your Puerto Rico's, Korea, especially with how much baseball they play over there. Even like the Netherlands, like some of these other teams, they can be respectable. There's going to be a couple that aren't, but that's the way it is. And I think generally when you get like international competition, it's kind of good. Like, all right, we don't need this absolute trouncing.
Absolutely. First of all, just shout out to the chat. I forgot to do that at the very beginning of the show. My apologies. So let's get through some of your comments real quick. Mike Pars, like and subscribe on the way in. Everyone, baseball is here. Jacob Petruzzi, Joe actually isn't late tonight. No, I mean, he was, look, I mean, we settled our contract last week. We figured things out, and Joe is back on a full-time basis, so that's all good. Love the USA hats, boy, says Alana. Yes, again, we got the USA going here. Hector is in the building, fellas. ESB. Hitman's here as well. Shout out to our guy Hitman. Dave's in the building. Our guy Macho, like the video guys. Shout out to Rich and Joe. Go team PR. And let's see, Jacob Rich, but he can't hit in big games. I guess that's in response to Aaron Judge and him hitting a 2-run homer in his first AB against a no worth in pitcher on Friday. But yeah, we got 40 people in the building. So guys, if you haven't already, make sure to like the video. If you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe. I don't know if you can even get into the building if you're not subscribed. I don't know if we have open access like that. But yeah, 40 people in the building. I know it's a big night. We got WBC going on, bunch of different watch parties. Shout out to our guys, Keith and Anthony Rivera, Subway to the Shade. They're over on Anthony's channel right now doing a watch along. So if you have multiple devices, and usually in this time, everybody does, make sure to have them on one side and have us on another. And if you have a third, make sure to throw on the WBC game as well so you can follow along to the conversation. All right, so we're talking about the format. Joe, you got an update?
Skeens, 1, 2, 3 inning, 1 strikeout. Going to the bottom of the first.
Okay, there we go. Bottom of the first. And we got Bobby Witt, Bryce Harper, and Aaron Judge coming up in the bottom half of the first inning. So as far as format goes, I was very excited to talk about this. You know, one conversation that always comes up here, Thomas, is the scheduling of the WBC. You know, Is this an opportune time to launch this series of events? I mean, we're talking about 2 weeks in the middle of spring training. Luckily, again, it's only, once every 3 years. It used to be once every 4 back in the day. So it's not a yearly thing where we kind of have to decipher the schedule. We're not shedding games, but people have gotten creative with where they want to put the WBC. A lot of people clamored for after the season, after the playoffs are done. And I don't know if that's even the best idea because some of these guys just want to go home. But Tom, I know you and I got to talking about this, and you had some ideas about the schedule proposal for future WBCs.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, some of the stuff I'm going to throw out there is not, I'm not saying it's not original, but it's things you hear talked about, but we kind of I wanted to put together a bit of a proposal, put it to the board here to see what people would think for what a WBC could look like. And we have it set up here. One, it's in the middle of the season. I think that's the most obvious thing that would need to change. We just saw, when we have seen in the past, the blueprint for that is how the NHL handles the Olympics, where they take 2 weeks off in the middle of the season. They don't have an all-star game, which in this situation, we were not going to have an all-star game either. And they play it then. Now, the one thing, and I didn't want to make Rich redo this, I wanted to move it to every 4 years. The thought was I'll do it on the 2 years in between the Summer Olympics. So hopefully baseball stays in the Olympics and we could, do that every 4 years also. Problem is, this would be happening right when the World Cup is happening. And I know Joe doesn't like soccer, but a lot of people in the world do. And I think baseball will be absolutely slaughtered if they attempted to put this on during the World Cup. So probably in reality, this wouldn't be in 2030, maybe like 20, either, like 31 or something like that. Every 4 years, maybe the year before the Olympics. A lot of the format would be the same. You would still have the way I had it set up was you have 4 pools of 5 teams. You go through pool play. So this starts, the last game of the MLB season in this year, for example, would be July 14th. Guys get a couple of days off to travel, and then we start pool play. And another important thing about pool play here is this is all happening in the U.S. We're not having games in other places. Major League Baseball is putting this on, and I think these games should be in the U.S. Maybe in the future, if it gets big enough, you want to send it over to Japan and Korea because they truly love the game. I'd be interested in that, but for a while, this is all U.S. based because the other thing is, Miami doesn't deserve to host these games. It's a horrible franchise. It's a ballpark that people don't like. Can you imagine if these games were at Wrigley or in Fenway or Yankee Stadium, Citi Field? They would be so much better. And you could do that in July. You can't do that in March. So pool play happens. We get 5 days of pool play. You play 4 games. There's an off day in there. Figure how you make that work. You kind of set people up there. I have it as the top 3 teams from each pool advance. The number 1 seeds in each pool get a bye. So those the 2 and 3 from each pool, they play the quarterfinals, which would be on that Monday. Again, we're moving this across the country, right? We're not just sticking in. We're only doing this in the Northeast. Maybe pool play is in the South. Quarters, we're doing that in the Northeast, and then the finals when you're out west, and you kind of keep rotating through. So these big markets and these really great fan bases get a chance to celebrate this. Anyway, so you get the 2 and 3s from each of those pools. They play in the first round of the quarters on Monday. Tuesday, those top seeds come in, and then they play. And then you whittle it down to the final 4 on the Wednesday on the 24th. Then we move to we'll get to the home run derby part after. Rich, I don't know why it says semifinals for 2 days and the finals for 1. So that's I don't know what we're doing there.
Travel day.
I guess so. It really is that Friday is open. So if that Friday is open,
it should be a double header semifinal, right? Like, so Friday you should have 2 games back to back.
Why would
travel day Saturday, final Sunday?
Why? I mean, the semis wouldn't be. I guess you could do it that way.
It'd be 2 games.
Yeah, it would be in how I wanted this proposed. You would just do 2 games on that Saturday. So what I'd probably do is that Thursday is an off day. Friday is the derby. We'll get back to that. Saturday you have the semis, right? You have in close areas. So you have an early game and a late game, and then you get the finals on Sunday, off day Monday, and we're back to Major League Baseball right before the trade deadline. Doing this, we are going to get rid of the All-Star game. It's just I don't think you could do it in here, but if on that Friday is an off day in this setup, I have it as a home run derby, and you could do a world home run derby. You could have representatives from each team in it. I think that would be a lot of fun, and you would give the home run derby a little bit more time to breathe than it currently has. Other parts of this proposal that would be important that the owners, I'm sure, would boo to, but it is what it is. In seasons that we do this, season is 10 games shorter. We're cutting 10 games out of the schedule for these seasons. It's too much to ask for the guys to do that. I think if you had some sort of revenue sharing before the teams, you could probably make them closer to whole. But listen, you got to just cut the game. The season's shorter, 152, 154, something. Again, you're cutting 8 games off of the season if you're doing this. The other thing that I just
quick pause. So
yeah.
No All-Star game, but are you recognizing All-Stars despite not playing?
Yeah, you still have a All-Star selection that's tied to contracts and awards and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you still have it. Now the good thing is you're not going to have 85 All-Stars because all the people drop out. So you're just going to really get your All-Stars in each team and that's it. So I kind of like that also.
Yeah.
Now during the tournament, right? Not everyone's going to be playing. Some guys will still opt to not do it. Some guys are just not going to make the teams. So what I also would propose, this is something we definitely have to go into a CBA, which we're going to have before the next WBC anyway. Players will have the option if they choose, and I guess in conjunction with talking with their teams, if they want to, hey, listen, I didn't make Team USA, and I'm not going to try to make one of these other teams. They have a free option to play in the minors for that time if they want to stay fresh. Now, if they don't want to, they're like, hey, listen, I'm going to take 2 weeks off and I'm going to chill. I'm going to go on vacation. I'm going to rest my body. That's fine. But I'm sure for pitchers, especially, they might want to get into some game action. So if a Max Fried is like, hey, I'm not going to go to the WBC, but I do want to stay regular. Can you imagine if Max Fried is just kind of like toeing the slab on a Tuesday in Scranton? That's how nice that would be for those minor league franchises. And again, it's not mandatory, but you give them the option. Obviously, as veteran players, you can't just send the guy down. But in this scenario, we're giving them the ability to go do that.
Can we get into some thoughts on the schedule before we continue here?
Sure.
I actually really like it. Yeah, I love this, Tom. If there was to be a change, I think this is definitely the best way to do it, because if you wait too long and you do it post World Series, then it gets to an awkward time where these guys are doing a tournament while they're also signing contracts with new teams. They're getting traded to new teams.
It's also cold, and you don't want to do
exactly.
a WBC game. A WBC game in Wrigley in July is awesome. In November, no, thank you.
Exactly. I really like this approach. A lot of people will say, well, it's not going to work. The NHL does it. The NHL does it, and it works. Like you said, you have to shave off a couple of games, do some revenue sharing. There's things that would have to be worked out. But I think the way it's laid out is good. You're essentially missing about roughly 2 weeks worth of gameplay. Who cares about the All-Star game? The only All-Star event that most of us probably enjoy the most is the Derby, and you're still getting the Derby here, which works out great. I could care less about the All-Star game itself. I haven't really cared about it since they got rid of the World Series home field piece of it, and even that was weird. But the Derby is the best part of the All-Star break, so you're still getting a piece of that. So I actually like this. I think from a timing standpoint, it would either have to be the route you have proposed here or the route it is today. I can't really see any other route working. It's one of the two. But I would have no issue with this approach. In mid-season, the pitchers is where it gets a little weird, but also gives guys a blow. If you have an overtaxed bullpen, to be able to get back on your feet and recover, in a week and a half, 2-week stretch, it could also be beneficial at the same time. So I personally like it. I would not be opposed to this approach.
Yeah. So my thing is, my biggest thing is reduce the pool size. If you reduce the pool size, you don't need a 3-week-long tournament. So right now there's 20 teams in the WBC. Nicaragua, Brazil, Great Britain, Czech Republic, who was pitching an electrician the other day. These teams don't need to be in it. All right. And if you want to qualify for it, we'll come up with a qualifier method in the winter leagues.
There is a qualifier for
it.
Right. These teams do qualify. Those teams like Czechia, those teams, they do qualify for the tournament.
Right. So keep the qualifiers, just trim the pool. All right. At the end of the day, these teams can still get in the tournament, but we don't need 20 teams.
My pushback on that was, but okay, we just the Olympic hockey tournament was awesome. Like, again, there was only a handful of teams that could have won that, and that doesn't mean that you don't invite some of these other teams that weren't ever gonna win.
How many teams were in the Olympic hockey tournament this year? Was it 12?
I'd have to look.
I think it was 12 or 16.
Yeah, something like that. So I don't think 20 is. I think baseball is can be certainly played in more places than maybe a little hockey. I know it's probably pretty close, but I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing to have that many. If you want to shave it to 16, then whatever. It doesn't
in the hockey tournament.
And I kind of like what Joe's saying too about shaving it down. You shave it down to 16. Maybe there's an opportunity, instead of doing series, you just do a straight up single game elimination tournament that covers that week and a half. And maybe won't even have to be that long if you're getting in 16 games, if you're playing multiple games on a day. Maybe
either
just
that, or you could theoretically make the finals a best of 3.
That was my original plan that Rich kind of shot down was the finals was the best of 3.
I didn't shoot it down. You decided not to air it.
Well, you made the schedule behind the curtain. Rich as always did a great job with graphics, and he kind of removed it. And I said, I guess that's fine. But originally my plan was the finals was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday best of 3.
Right. Here's what I do. Right. I think you hit the nail on the head. Make it the in between years. Move it up. Don't put it against the World Cup. Move it up so the finals happen during 4th of July week. Baseball owns America.
The World Cup goes. That's when the World Cup's being played, though.
Well, I don't know.
I know you don't. The World Cup takes a long time. The World Cup's like a month.
So listen, the baseball fan is not worried what the World Cup is doing.
Fox and ESPN, they very much are.
But the average baseball fan doesn't care about a game that's happening.
I would push back.
Joe, don't do it. Don't do it again, Joe. You got to go the last time for this.
You can put them up.
U.S.
I don't listen. I'm not crazy for it personally, but so the World Cup starts on June 11th, and it goes until
but that's when it's in the United States. When it's overseas, it was in the UAE. The games were at 2 o'clock in the morning. They didn't interfere with them. Nobody cares.
The Czech Republic electrician might be playing goalie.
The Czech Republic might be playing for both. Listen, I think there's a way to do this. I think the home run derby should start the tournament, and that way you don't have a gap between the quarterfinals and semis. You could rip through that in 3 days. You can rip through that. You have them in the same city, and then you fly them to whatever premier ballpark you want. You want to fly them to Boston and have them play a best-of-3 finals up in Fenway Park? You could do it. And the way you sell this to the owners is, hey, you're going to lose 10 games every few years, but we rotate and every stadium gets involved. So however,
not every stadium. Most we're not playing games in Anaheim. Let's
no, but that's the way to sell it and say, hey, in
Kansas City, we're sorry, but
we're taking 4 home games away from every team, and on a rotational basis, you're getting 4 games in every often.
You would just revenue share. You would just take the ticket money or whatever concession money from it, and you just divide it by 30 every time, and then you just split it evenly.
That's the word.
I think just give them the gates every few years. You're gonna use 10 stadiums. If you split it up smartly, you're gonna use 10 stadiums in the WBC. So I
think that's a moot point, but okay.
You know what I mean? Like they're gonna get their revenue from the gate if on a rotational basis, and then you can split it on the back end at the end of the day for anybody who's malcontent.
I think there's something there though, Tom. I don't totally hate it. I think one of my biggest pushbacks would be, another topic that's always thrown out there is a team's comfortability, and it's not up to the team, but a team's comfortability in letting one of their players go play in the WBC with the risk, of course, of injury. And, when you have it at this stage of the season, sometimes maybe the mildest of injuries can be recoverable throughout the season. But now when you're talking about closer to the stretch run and into the playoffs, it's even more of a risk that you could lose a player for the entirety of the rest of a season while a team is in the middle of a playoff hunt.
Sure, but listen, and I think I'll go back to the Olympic hockey tournament we just had. I mean, Jack Hughes lost teeth, and he was willing to, he didn't care. He went, got back on the ice, scored a game-winning goal. It was amazing. I think if they're thinking about it beforehand, but once you get the guys in the competition, they're not gonna, it's the pitching where you get concerned. You want to expand the rosters big enough so the pitching is not as much of an issue. I'm not suggesting that Paul Skeens is going to throw 130 pitches in a semifinal game against Japan to make the finals. But he's going to pitch more than what the 45 pitches he's going to pitch tonight. That's the issue. My main issue with the WBC is it tries to tries to tell people it's serious, but it's not taking itself seriously. What we're doing at this time of year, where pitchers just can't pitch all this much, makes it a joke. The fact that, again, Nolan McLean, nothing against them, but the fact that the U.S. would go to him in the finals is a joke when you could go with Skubal or with Skeens, but it's just because of their spring training ramp up, they're not going to be ready. It's a joke. And again, nothing against McLean.
There's no other major tournament in the world that has artificial restrictions on the ability of athletes to play. And if you go to basketball, the WB, I think it's called the WBC, the World Basketball Championship. If you go to the World Cup that's happening, if you go to the Olympics, they don't restrict athletes. The athletes' minutes aren't tracked. The athletes aren't allowed to be on the floor for only so many times. And the idea that you're hosting a tournament where the best players in the world and the players in the most control of the game, which are the pitchers, can only go 65 pitches the first round. I think it's 75 or 80 the second round, and I think up to 90 in the finals. That's a problem.
Well, there is one other tournament that does this, and it's comparable. It's Little League World Series. That's where you see this.
Right, and the way the
baseball runs this is Little League sometimes.
The hockey tournament, we just had the hockey tournament. These guys are losing teeth. Now they don't let them fight in the Olympics, so that's I guess a little different of a thing.
I think that's an Olympic situation.
That's an Olympic and a European thing. But even the Four Nations face-off that happened last year, there was no restrictions on these. These guys were killing each other to win that. So to me, that's the problem. And if you move it to the center of the season, you eliminate the restriction on the pitchers, right? If you take 10 games away, there's no reason that the normal pitcher wouldn't say, hey, I want to participate in that. because I'm ramped up anyway. I'm gonna pitch for my team. I can figure it out. And at the reality of it, you're only getting 2 starts, maybe a third, if everything times out perfectly. But most pitchers only start in 2 games.
Yeah.
So the idea like it's some huge burden on these pitches is not true.
All righty. Well, we're going to move on from around the world. And Joe, I know you're going to have a hard time catching your breath, but I got to go right back to you because we got to talk about YouTube.
Yes. We are live on Instagram and X, but we are also live on YouTube. YouTube is actually our preferred platform. Why? Because we can interact with you, the chat, here live on the show. So do us a favor, go over to YouTube, type in Empire State of Baseball, hit that subscribe button. It's free. You could join us for the Crosstown Conversation every week. We got a ton of stuff coming your way. We got shorts that are debuting every single day. We got all sorts of stuff coming. We got more shows coming. Hint, hint. Oh, yeah. Wink, wink. So we got more shows coming up for you. So we're not just going to be a one-trick pony on Mondays, which we aren't anyway. But as far as YouTube is concerned, we're going to have more content available as we go throughout the week. So join us over there. We hit over 550 subscribers this past week, which is phenomenal. If we get to 750, we're going to do another giveaway. So do yourself a favor. Go on your wife's phone. Go on your parents' phone. Hit the subscribe button on their phone as well as your own. And make sure you're subscribed to Empire State Baseball.
We're starting to make a little bit teeny tiny steps as we get closer to the baseball season. We're past the 550 mark, which took a while to get there. So again, humble beginnings, but good stuff all around. I threw up the title screen from the last show that we did. Great episode that we had last week. Everybody that has a live stream microphone was with us. It was a great time with our outfield rankings and such. So make sure to tune into that episode. If you haven't liked that video, haven't liked this video, definitely like this video. And Joe, I'm glad you mentioned the upcoming schedule. I was going to wait till later, but you did mention there's some future projects on the horizon. So we're going to pull up the Diamond Sports Media. Yep, Diamond Sports Media. That's where we operate under now. The Live Spaces and Streams programming guide. And you see right there, Tuesday, Thursday, we got some projects coming soon. We'll let you guys know details over the next couple of weeks of what we got coming up. But obviously, based on the color scheme of those 2 shows, you can bet what those shows might be about. So we will keep you posted. But it's time that we get into our big segment of the night. And that, of course, is our March Madness bracket. And just like we did 4 years ago, 3 years ago, whenever we started the first one, Corey, Joe, and Tom, we're back at it again for another March Madness bracket. It's all about college basketball. We baseballify our tournament segment for the month of March, of course, in tribute to what's going on with college basketball. But we wanted to take advantage of the time. Of course, it's a World Baseball Classic, and we said that this was going to be a big WBC show. So with that said, today's tournament has to do with the World Baseball Classic, and specifically, which uniform is the best across the World Baseball Classic? Now, you're probably asking yourself, well, if you're going to do a tournament, you're probably doing a 16-seed tournament. There's 20 teams. How are you going to fit that in? Well, the last few days, we've been running polls on our social medias, a little bit of play-in polls, we call it. It's actually a Tom Wospil idea, so I got to shout out Tom for that one, who came up with the idea to get guys into the tournament. We did figure it out. And here is the bracket before we get into the matchups. And we match it up by pools, just like the real deal. There's 4 teams representing each pool. Pool A, Pool B, Pool C, and Pool D. There you see it. So we're going to get right into it. And how we're going to do this, Joe is going to vote first on which of the 2 uniforms is best. Then we're going to go to Tom. Then we're going to go to Corey. If it has to come down to it, I will take a vote as well. And if it's a 2-2 tie, you at home will be voting for who has the best uniform. We're taking in the alternate, the home, and the hat. So let's get right in.
Real quick, too, before we get into it, I have a little bit of a hot take. I actually am disappointed overall with the collection of uniforms in the WBC.
Oh, that's not a hot take. They're all terrible.
I don't think it's hot take.
They could have been so much better.
I don't think it's hot take at all.
The City Connects have more fun to them. And I'm not the biggest City Connect guy. Some are really cool. But I think this is terrible. The worst part of the WBC is the uniforms. They could have been so much better.
Yeah, the WBC uniforms are the same as the WBC. It's a half-baked, half-executed idea. It's just we didn't put a lot of effort into this.
Yep. Nope, we did not. I mean, there's some good outliers, but for the most of it, it's a lot of crap. But we'll get into it. Here we go. We're gonna start it off in Pool A. We got Colombia or Puerto Rico. Colombia, Puerto Rico. Joe, you have the first vote, then Tom.
Colombia is one of the worst uniforms I've ever seen. I mean, what's the font? Times New Roman. I mean, with the and you know what the worst part about the uniform besides the font is? How about the mustard yellow pinstriping or whatever you want to call that trimming? They're awful. They're terrible. They're as bad as I've ever seen. It's Puerto Rico by a landslide. I don't think Puerto Rico's is overly great, to be honest with you.
Chad is agreeing with you.
Just Colombia. Colombia's offensive, right? Like pay a kid out of college to come up with a better uniform than that.
Tom?
Yeah, I honestly think I'm gonna go Colombia. Just because, and listen, it's not the issue we have with some of these, right? They're using the flags, and there's a lot of red, white, and blue teams, a lot of red and white teams, a lot of blue and white teams. It's not that's not Puerto Rico's fault, just the situation they're in. At least Colombia has that yellow. They got a little something different going on there. I will vote for Colombia, but yeah, it's not great.
Corey. 1-1
Yeah,
vote.
I'm going to say, listen, Colombia makes good coffee, but they don't make good uniforms. I'm going to go with Puerto Rico. Actually, Joe was talking about the bad font of Colombia. I actually think Puerto Rico has one of the best fonts, the way they do Puerto Rico on the jersey. So I'm giving Puerto Rico the vote.
Chat says Puerto Rico. I say Puerto Rico as well. Has nothing to do with any kind of heritage. I think one of the things I want to call out, and I'll be consistent throughout, I want to see the implement of the team colors, the flag be implemented into the team colors. Now, Colombia actually did a pretty decent job incorporating all the colors. Puerto Rico, same deal as well. You're going to see across the progression of my voting where I lie there, because I'm glad I put the flag, because you're going to see the national flag to the jersey, and a lot of them are just not going to match up. But I got Puerto Rico as well. All right, here we go. Our next matchup out of Pool A, we got Canada or Cuba. Canada or Cuba, Joe?
Yeah, Canada's jerseys don't look as good on picture. They don't look as good in person as they do on picture. I'm actually going to go Cuba here. I think they got a little something different going on. I like the font a little bit better. I know it's another red, white, and blue one, but Canada was just like, they could have popped a maple leaf on. You know, I loved what Canada did with their Olympic hockey jerseys. They had that silver matte maple leaf. It was an opposite color, like you didn't really expect it. They did nothing here. Where's the maple leaf in the middle of the D or the A or something like that? There's nothing unique, and Canada has plenty of national teams. I hate these. Again, it just says Canada on it. I'd rather have Cuba. Cuba at least got the star of the flag built into that underline. I think that's a nice little touch there, and it gives it a little bit more character than just Canada.
Tom?
Yeah, that logo on the Canada hat is horrendous. It's heinous and horrendous. It is so bad. And then this is where again, they're so lazy. All of every team, it's just the name across the chest, right? Canada would be a perfect example to do a chest, like how the Yankees or like the Mets have. You put a maple leaf on like the top corner of the jersey.
Terrain. Just fell. Sorry.
Yeah. You put the maple leaf there, and it's not just the same for everyone. Canada, I think, would be a good team to try that out. I'll also vote for Cuba. Again, a little bit of the star. It's given something. I think the hat's pretty cool, so I'll go Cuba. Corey.
Yeah, Canada, really big missed opportunity not doing more of a leaf theme with the jersey. They did it with the hat, and like Tom said, the hat's not even good.
That's
so
bad.
botch job all around. I'm going Cuba.
Hey, yo. I'm going Cuba as well. It doesn't matter as well. Poor Canada takes another L over the past few weeks. That's terrible. And it's also, it's bad when I can actually identify the name of the font that's on a jersey. That font right there is called Trade Gothic Inline.
Oh, all right. Update. Terang ripped a double down the line.
You're so late. Joe.
It looks like Roman Anthony was thrown out at the plate by a great throw. And it's remained 0-0, bottom second, 2 outs with Turang on second. Jared Duran gunned his teammate Roman Anthony out.
3 minutes late, but okay.
Well, he's on it. He's on it. Tom, doesn't matter if he's 3 minutes late as long as we're getting updates. All right, on to the next matchup, into the next pool. We have Brazil versus the United States. It's our Friday matchup again, revisited just with the uniforms. Brazil or the United States? Joe.
It's the U.S. by a mile. First of all, they didn't even spell Brazil right. The hat is absolutely
no, Joe. We don't spell Brazil right. Brazil is spelled with an S. You absolute buffoon. That's actually, I'm gonna get on.
Where's the tournament? The tournament's in America. So spell it like
no.
Anyway,
This was a point I had during the Olympics. I hate when countries don't spell. They have the way they spell your country's name, and then you put it in English on the jersey. No, like Brazil, I give you credit for the S in there. You're not putting the Z in there. It's the way you spell
Japan. If Japan and Korea's names are in English, then Brazil could be spelled like we spell it.
They shouldn't be either. They should have in their
let's just be honest. The colors suck with Brazil. The hat is terrible. It's just a B. Like, there's just no originality to it. And Brazil has a flag. I mean, their flag's got really nice colors in it, and you could have done something with that deep blue trimmed in yellow, whatever, with some green in it, and they just did this crap. I don't even think that's the right kind of blue. So
2-0, Corey.
It's garbage.
So I didn't necessarily say it was 2-0. Now my biggest issue with Brazil's jersey, is, again, Joe, you're gonna have to deal with this. Again, I'm not even the biggest soccer fan, but Brazil has one of the most iconic soccer kits in the world. And what color are those jerseys? What are the iconic Brazilian jerseys? They're yellow. Why do they have a blue jersey? It should be yellow. Do a yellow jersey. That's what you're known for. If you close your eyes and you imagine like Pele, he's wearing a yellow Brazilian jersey. Why is it blue? The B is also horrendous. The U.S. does certainly win this, but we'll get more on them later.
Corey.
It flies out to end the second.
Exactly. Do me a favor. Go to USA real quick.
Oh, yeah, sure. Absolutely, sir.
And now go back to Brazil.
Yeah, absolutely, sir.
I just want to see Brazil one last time before we piss it off forever. USA.
Love it. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, next part of this bracket. We have Italy. We have Italy.
Italia. Good for them. Again.
And Mexico. This is actually not a bad round here. Joe, who do you got?
Go back to Italy for a second.
Sure.
It's not in English, so it don't be an issue.
But again, the problem with Italy is
where the blue come from.
Why is it blue?
Where have you guys been? Italy always wears blue in international. Do you guys not watch like the Olympics?
They look like crap.
You don't watch the Olympics? Italy always wears blue.
Hold on, Tom. What about the hat? The hat's just an eye.
Well, that's also bad, but them wearing blue is normal.
I have to go with Mexico. Mexico actually looked like, if you saw Mexico's jersey and it didn't have a name on it, you'd say that's probably a Mexican jersey. It just says Mexico, but it gets the colors right. Italy, the blue doesn't have the association.
For argument's sake, though, I would also probably say it's probably an Italy jersey too. That would be my two guesses.
That's probably right. Probably.
Listen, that being said, I will vote for Mexico. I think Mexico has one of the best uniforms in the WBC. But the fact that you guys don't understand why they have blue jerseys, I mean, again, turn on any international sport. Italy wears blue. That's what they do.
Yeah. Listen, as someone of Italian descent, I am a little disappointed in the Italian jerseys here. And the eye, they could have got creative. Do a cannoli. Make it an eye, a cannoli. You could have done something fun with it instead of the letter I.
Mexico pizza, damn it. Make it a pizza.
Make it a cannoli.
Okay, so it's Mexico, and I would be with you guys.
Connor's with the note, by the way.
On the Mexican part. All right, here we go. Well, Christy Evans goes, Italy, says the Italia is different for me. Italy, totally not biased. I didn't even know he was Italian. Thought he was just an idiot. James Connors goes, House Savoy, they unified Italy in the 1800s. The color was blue. Thank you, Connors. We appreciate you.
Culturing, it just like, educating these absolute.
This is a history pod. I didn't know this was a history pod. I thought it was a baseball pod. All right,
Don't make
let's
a terrible
move on.
hat. I might have voted for you.
So Mexico moves on. Let's go to the other side of the bracket to Pool C. We got Chinese Taipei, aka Taiwan, I guess. Chinese Taipei,
it's Taiwan. Yeah, they
and Japan. I don't know why Japan had to be special with all these graphics and have their arms up. It made everything kind of stupid and had a pinch in the hat. But that's what we got here, Joe. Chinese Taipei or Japan? Who do you got?
This is the closest matchup, right? Because like I like Japan's look. I actually dare say Japan's look is borderline iconic. Like just the way they do jerseys. As far as variety is concerned, again, I know it's red, white, and blue, but I love I like the Chinese Taipei. It looks like a GT. It looks like you're playing Gran Turismo, but it looks good. I'm gonna go with Japan, but I like the fact that Chinese Taipei tried to be a little different from everybody else, and instead of the country name on the chest, they went with the corner logo over the heart. I like that a little bit better. It's a little variety. And it's not something you see as much nowadays.
So you go to Japan?
Japan.
Yeah.
By a sliver.
I mean, again, would I prefer that they would use their own like native characters in their jerseys, but they look a lot cooler? Absolutely. Do you guys remember when the Mets came out with their City Connect jersey, the one that like sold out immediately? Which one? It was the Senga one that was in Japanese. Like that it would look so much cooler if they did that. Japan's logo, I will take Joe's point further. I think it is iconic for the sport of baseball in international competition. I really like it. Japan easily clears Taiwan.
Missed opportunity on the white logo, on the white jersey, because it would have been cool, like the land of the rising sun, if they went with that red.
The double pin.
Now you go more City Connect.
Yeah, basically getting a little crazy, but I'm actually going to go with Taipei.
Ooh.
I'm going to go with Chinese Taipei. They were actually the only team I voted for in the pre-pool that made it this far. I'm kind of with Joe. I think it's a close matchup. I'm going to give the edge to the Chinese Taipei because I think it's simple, but it's very neat. They did a very good job with the simplicity of it.
Okay, this is a tough one because, I mean, as easy as it is to put Japan through, what I like about the Chinese Taipei logo is the little baseball scene that runs through the sea, kind of forming the second half of a baseball. I think that's very creative, but I have a hard time not putting Japan through. It's the lone pinstripe jersey in the entire tournament. I really like the alternate and the hat, even though it's a simple J. I do like this. The font works for me as well. I'm going Japan here over Chinese Taipei to move on to the next round. All right, so let's get into the next two here. And I kind of spoiled it a little bit before, but it is Australia with the green. We know how well the green.
Why is it green? Their flag is red, white, and blue.
I know. Well, we'll get into it. We got Australia and Korea.
Oh, don't
pretty good matchup here, Joe. What do you got?
I like Australia's. Again, I know Tom's going to be like, you're contradicting yourself with color. I like this. I first of all, I think Australia might have the best hat out of everybody. The A with the stars off the flag, I think is a really good look. I like the outback symbol with the boomerang. I think that overall, they just look good. They look different. I like it a lot. Korea's is cool, but at the end of the font is different. But again, another red, white, and blue team. I'm gonna go with the green because it's a little different and it looks good. From an up and coming baseball country. Also, can I ask something? Why wouldn't countries put the country on the hat? I was just thinking about this for Italy. Italy put an I. Why not put the country of Italy on the hat?
Oh,
because everything about this event is half-assed.
Because Italy has the most iconic shape of a country ever. It's in the shape of a boot. You could do so much stuff with that on a hat.
That hat would do numbers in New Jersey.
It would. It would. Every freaking Johnny Gumbats in Jersey would buy one.
Oh, forget it. If they made it a guy with the big pizza hat spinning the pizza, it would sell out. It would sell out.
Cut the mozzarella. All right, So, Joe, the pick was
Australia.
Australia. Tom?
Yeah, again, Rich, I guess you've never watched international sports. Australia always wears green, and I will second what Joe said. They might have the best hat in the game. I like their logo. I think Australia. I think Korea's isn't bad. I think it would have beaten some other teams, but Australia definitely goes through.
Corey.
Yeah, Korea's up there with the font. I did have Puerto Rico. I just like the crisp of Puerto Rico's font, but Korea's right there. But Jersey as a whole, I agree. I'm going Australia.
Wow. And you guys blocked me from getting in a vote against Australia because, again, I'm going to stick consistently. Love this jersey. Just wish it was blue, red, and white like the colors of the Australian flag and not the green. It's a really nice jersey. And again, if we're going back 2 years ago, fellas, remember when we did the MLB jerseys, what went far in that bracket? The Cardinals won, but the Oakland A's are right there because of those damn
Creamy
Kelly
boys.
Greens. So I
God,
know
if one of these teams had a creamy boy, God,
I know it's gonna
right to the top.
I know it's gonna sit well with this crew. So Australia moves on. All right, next we are getting right down to the end here of our first round. Next, we have the Dominican Republic and Nicaragua. Joe,
Let's
ahead.
make this one quick, guys.
Oh boy,
Nicaragua's got a different. I like the Dominican. They did a little bit more. It looks better. It looks cleaner. I love the hat more. Nicaragua is too monotone. It's two colors. It's like, all right, okay, yeah. So Dominican Republic.
Tom.
Yeah, the Dominican again easily clears. Appreciate that their jersey is also. It says, I'm not going to attempt to do a special
República
accent.
Dominicana.
It says, yeah, exactly. Appreciate that. Nicaragua is bad.
Yeah,
Corey?
I mean, Nicaragua went to your local sporting goods shirt.
It looks like a
store and
Little
got
League
some
jersey.
softball
That's a Little League
shirts.
jersey.
Yeah.
That could say Joe's Garage.
The standard baseball font.
Yeah, so standard, so boring. The fact that the voters got this in is a shame on the voters. It's DR.
Went over Israel, which again, very comparative jerseys on the two, but yes, the DR goes in. All right, last bit here of the first round. We have the Kingdom of the Netherlands up against Venezuela. Joe.
Venezuela, I like the font, but the Netherlands, again, they went out on a limb. The hat is the crown of the Netherlands. Like that's a good hat. Like, yes, the white jersey is trash. Throw it in the garbage. But I love the colors of the blue jersey. I just love the orange with the dark blue and with that hat with the crown on it. I think it's different. They took a little bit more of a risk. I'm going with the Netherlands here. Venezuela was like the colors are off for me.
Mm-hmm.
I like what Venezuela has going on. I'll just go back to Joe's favorite sport, soccer. Netherlands, like very famously, not just in soccer, but in other sports, always wear orange. I know there's orange in there, but that alt jersey, the away jersey, should be an orange jersey. It seems like a layup that, like, I don't know how someone missed. I'll still take them, but I think Venezuela's is nice. They got they have a cool font. They got some different colors in there. But Netherlands with especially the hat, the crown, Kingdom of the Netherlands, it's pretty badass.
The hat they nailed it. They didn't go with the letter N like half the teams did and copped out. And I agree. The white jersey, but the blue is really sharp and it's a different shade. All these blues seem to be the same type of shade, roughly. At least in the Netherlands, it's different. It looks cool. I think they did a very good job with what they were given. Netherlands gets the vote.
That's it. Netherlands is in. All right, we're on to the next round, the quarterfinals. We're going to kick it right back to the top here with Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico's up against Cuba. Joe, who do you got in this matchup?
I'm gonna piss off the chat.
Oh,
I like Cuba's.
Oh wow!
Again, I like the star. It just looks like it. It looks like Cuba, right? Like, and I'm not saying PR doesn't, but that to me adds a little extra dimension of Cuba's that the PR doesn't seem to have. So I'm going with Cuba.
I think both these jerseys kind of stink, but I do think Cuba's is better. They have a red jersey, so that's nice. I think they have a better logo on the hat. I'll give it to Cuba, but I don't think either are that great.
Corey?
Yeah, I think Cuba's got a lot of the white jerseys are rough. Cuba's got one of the better whites.
Yes.
But I'm going to go with Puerto Rico. I just love the way they have the font on the Puerto Rican jersey. Gives it the slight edge for me. So again, this is probably the closest matchup we've had thus far, but I'm going to go Puerto Rico.
So we have 2-1 in favor of Cuba.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to make it 2-2 going to the chat. I am also voting for Puerto Rico as well for the same exact reasons. I think Cuba, to me, gets the edge with the hat. The overall jersey, though, I'm still going Puerto Rico here. I think it's, they're both relatively clean. I just like the look of Puerto Rico a lot more. So, chat, it's up to you. Finally, you are the deciding vote. Puerto Rico or Cuba to advance to the semifinals here. Let's see what we got. We have Puerto Rico. There's Puerto Rico right there. We got Puerto Rico. I think we're good on that. I don't know if we should get another 2. I think we're pretty set. I'll give it a count. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Puerto Rico's into the next round. Bang. So there you go. Puerto Rico.
Real quick pause. I don't have the game on TV, but I do see injury delay in the USA game.
Yes, Harper just lined a line drive off the pitcher Cruz's leg, I believe.
But yeah, he's walking around. He's not dead.
Right,
yeah, he's trying to shake it off, but I mean, Harper hit that ball.
It hit him like right in the ankle. So that
Oh.
looks like it's gonna hurt.
Next part of our quarterfinals. Hopefully our pitcher is okay. We got the United States of America or Mexico. Joe, go ahead.
This could theoretically be the finals. I'm going USA. The incorporation of the flag into USA. The hat's better than Mexico's. Overall I like the red, white, and blue versus the green, white, and red a little bit more. Again, Mexico's got a nice jersey. For me, the hat is better on the U.S. side than it is the Mexico side, and that's why I think the U.S. moves beyond.
I think that is a wild take. The U.S. hat, I think, is one of the worst hats I have ever seen. Ooh. I fucking hate the U.S. hat. It is so more, the clip art it's a terrible hat. The hat stinks. The logo on the jersey is good. I do like that. I like the blue for the road. Is better than they were when everyone was doing the grays. I think Mexico has a better jersey setup. I'm not saying I'm rooting for Mexico. I'm not rooting for Mexico in this game tonight. They got a better setup. I like their hat more. Again, the green jersey, give me something different out there. Again, go into let's have fun. Can you imagine if the U.S. hat had like an eagle on it with like 2 baseball bats? Would be awesome. Would be incredible. Would vote for it. They don't. They have a terrible, horrible logo on their hat.
Wow. Corey?
I actually think, again, I said it for the last round. I think this might be the toughest one thus far. I think U.S., slight missed opportunity. I love the eagle idea. They could have done some stars somewhere on the jersey.
Yeah, generally like USA things.
Exactly. I'm going to give the nod to Mexico, and I think the biggest
Corey, have some shit.
I'm going to do Mexico just to be a little different. It's away from the blue where 80% of the teams are blue. I know USA, red, white, and blue, obviously. But I think there's a slight missed opportunity. I don't think USA is a bad uniform by any means, but they could have done some interesting stuff. I'm going to give it to Mexico and give Rich a vote.
I don't necessarily think US is the best uniform set as we get deeper into this, but I'm still with the idea of keeping the star on the hat. And look, you can tinker with this all you want. And I got into a back and forth with somebody on the mutant platform known as X about changing the look of the Team USA because they've rocked the same look since the beginning.
Speaking of changing the look of Team USA, Aaron Judge.
Don't spoil it.
Bomb. Take it, Joe. Taste it. Root for Aaron Judge.
USA, baby. I'm not even gonna get into my reasons why. USA. So chat once again. It's up to you. Who do you got in this one? USA or Mexico?
It's
Best
3-0
jersey.
looks like.
We're not
boy.
trying to
Nothing
start
USA.
a war. I know we got a lot of that going on right now. But USA or Mexico, this is strictly based on best uniform set. What do you guys got in the chat? Team USA or Team Mexico? Both absolutely great job with the jerseys. I'm still giving the USA hat the advantage. I'm with Joe on that notion.
I don't know how you guys think that hat's better. The hat is so
But
bad.
bro,
How
here's
do
the
you
thing.
think, how do you think just an M is better than the
It's
U.S.
better-
with the star on it?
Mexico could have had I don't even want to say just anything, and it would have been better than the logo on the U.S. hat. The logo on the U.S. hat is so bad. It's so lazy.
It's an
it legitimately.
you can't say it's lazier than just an M.
Rich could do a better job than what they do.
I'm not
And they
saying
kinda
that,
put,
but
like-
Mexico just put an M.
It's a cool.
It's not
font.
even it's just a letter.
It's a cool font. I'll give it. I think they have a better.
Let's
And
see
it
what
looks
the
like I
chat
do
has
see.
to say.
I see Hector, Chris, NLI, all US.
Yeah.
Well, and LI goes USA easy, so he doubles down on it. I look, I don't think it's gonna be really tough for US to not pull this off with the folks in the chat. But again, we're basing it off best uniform. Like I said,
unbiased people.
I don't like the idea that there are folks that were manipulating the jersey and taking the stars and stripes out of it. You need that. Tom is 100% right, though. I think they need to add more to it. But right now in this match, I'm still going US over Mexico.
No pinstripes?
Let's go to the
Come
next.
on.
Let's go to the next as USA moves on to the semis. We have Japan. We got Japan and Australia. Joe, go for it.
Tough matchup. Again,
Very
I've
tough.
liked the Australia ones. I think Australia's got one of the best hats. But that pinstripe Japan jersey, like I said before, dare I say, it is iconic. You think of Team Japan, you think of that jersey. And as far as baseball goes, like that is their version of Yankees pinstripes. Like they put that on that tier. So for me, I got to go with that because as simple as it looks, at least digitally, during the game, it's iconic when you're playing the game of baseball. And
It looks cool because it's not even like regular pinstripes. It's like those double pinstripes. I think it's a good look. I don't know what Rich is going to do here because there's two teams that are incorporating colors that aren't on their flag. So Rich might just not vote.
No, I'll just spoil it right now. I'll throw I'll just say I was going to go Japan here. I think Japan still has a little bit more of the color scheme than Australia does. So I'm still going to punish Australia significantly for going just the green and the yellow.
Yeah, I mean that's a stupid reason for voting, but I guess everyone gets to vote. I'll still vote for Japan. I think they have better overall with the I think they have like probably the best home, maybe the best away. The hat is fine. But they're doing something, right? Their home jersey is different than everyone else's home jersey, and their away jersey is different than everyone else's away jersey.
Corey, were you in the same boat?
Yeah, I'm going to go Japan just because their jerseys are so much different compared to the other ones. Again, I like the Australia jersey, but I think Japan is a little bit more unique compared to the rest of the field we've seen thus far.
Yes, sir. All right. So, folks in the chat, I don't know what the hell this says. Nihon Katan. It means Japan easy from LI. Thanks for that, buddy. Kangaroo Country says CK. Jonathan goes, Judge is ready for the season. USA will win. Okay. Well, I love hearing it. Let's move on to the rest of the quarterfinals here. Actually, it's our last matchup of the quarters. And we have the Netherlands. We got the Netherlands, the Kingdom of the Netherlands, and not Nicaragua got knocked out. Dominican Republic. There we go. The Dominican Republic or the Netherlands. Joe, go for it.
This is tough. I think I'll get a heat for saying it. I actually like the Netherlands. I like the crown. I think the colors are different. The Dominican is a fine jersey. I think the DR on the hat looks good, but I like the uniqueness of the crown and the way the Netherlands does that. So I'm going to go with the Netherlands.
I put Netherlands through last time. So I think they had I forget who they're going against, but it was overall the design is better. I am going to dock them here that jersey is not orange. That away jersey should be orange. It's such a layup. I'm going to put forward the Dominican here.
Corey?
Oh, this is another really tough one.
Oh boy.
Really tough. Oh,
3-0. Taste it, Joe.
There you go.
See,
There you
Roman
go.
Anthony, I can root for you. Good for you, Roman.
Well, Raleigh just got plunked, and Anthony's up at bat.
You're so far behind.
I love how they do the Netherlands. I love the crown, like Joe said too. I'm going to give the edge to DR, and I would not be upset if Netherlands moves on, but I'm going to give the edge to DR in this one.
I'm going to agree. I'm going to go Dominican Republic as well. You guys, again, know my line of voting. I'm going to go with they match the color scheme of the flag.
I like
that Republica Dominica. It's Republica Dominica, not Dominican Republic. The R and D are where they're supposed to be. So I'm going with the DR as well. So what you can say here, fellas, is now we're in a semifinals, which could be very similar to a semifinals that we could see happen in real life. Puerto Rico, United States, Japan, and Dominican Republic representing their pools.
Roman Anthony 3-run homer. It is 5-0.
Oh, really? That's cool.
What are you doing?
Tom, you said 3-0.
I said a 3-run homer.
He did say 3. No, you did say 3-0. I did hear that.
Whatever.
You didn't say 3.
All right, let's get into the semifinals here. We got Puerto Rico up against the United States of America. Joe, what do you got?
Yeah, again, it's not like the U.S. is spectacular, but Puerto Rico is not. That's not it. U.S. does it better with basically the same color scheme. I'm going USA.
Yeah, I don't think either of these overall are great. I don't think Puerto Rico's is very good. I will put the U.S. through, but not a huge undertaking for them to do so.
Corey?
I love the PR hat more than the U.S., but I like the U.S. jerseys more, and I'll have to go with the U.S. for the jerseys over the jersey gets more of an edge over the hat, so I'm going to go U.S.
They didn't even get to be 3-0 United States. They move on to the finals here in our uniform tournament. On the other side, though, we have Japan up against the Dominican Republic, which would be an insane matchup if we get to see that in real life. But for uniform's sake, Joe, what do you got?
This is where the Netherlands ends, because the problem with the Netherlands
we have the Dominican Republic, buddy.
I'm sorry. Dominican Republic. I'm sorry. What's the other one?
Japan.
Japan, right. I'm sorry. Wow. I'm out of it. I'm going Japan. Again, I like the Dominican jersey overall. I like the hat, but again, Japan is iconic. I think it's so that pinstripe white to me is the law in terms of these jerseys.
I think the other thing that hasn't been brought up yet so far, Japan is the one team in this tournament that is not using Nike jerseys. They have Mizuno jerseys. That's why I think they have some different flavor to them. And I like Nike. I'm not anti-Nike. I like Nike stuff. But where every other jersey seems like, hey, we're just going to change the colors. Even like the side paneling on a lot of them are exactly the same. Mizuno is putting out something different for Team Japan. And yeah, I think they very easily get through.
I'm actually going to go on the other side, and I'm going to go Dominican Republic. Again, it's a tough matchup. I just like the way they do the jerseys. I love the hat. If I was Dominican, I would get the hat easy. I'm going to go Dominican Republic on this one.
You know, Corey, I got to say, I didn't think I was going to get a chance to get this vote in, because I'm going to send it to the chat once again.
No.
Are moving on to the finals. Let's hear from the chat now. We got Dominican Republic or Japan. You have the deciding vote. So let's hear from you. The Dominican Republic or Japan, chat. This winner will move on to our finals to face the United States of America. And again,
Rich is the definition of a single issue voter.
What are you talking about?
Which one is the most color like the flag is the one I like the best?
Well, look at the freaking. Oh, come on now! Let's not do that. Look,
I won't do. That's what you're doing.
The flag, where this is what I've been pushing the whole time. I haven't.
You're a single issue voter.
That's ridiculous. That's called consistency, Tom. Learn something about it. Let's take a look at the comments here. We got Japan. Japan is one. For the record, I do prefer the DR hat, though. that says pars, but he's voting for Japan. Actually, technically, he's voting for both Japan jersey, DR hat, but he's got Japan. Anybody else? We're going to count you down.
There's a couple others. Like Chris has Japan. But then there's two DRs. Chris actually went DR and then he went Japan. Unless that DR was from the other poll.
I don't know if this is I think that was for the other. I think this is so far. This is the only vote for Japan right now, and we have another Japan vote. So
yeah, we're good. We're
Japan moves on to the finals. So in the finals, we have the United States of America or Japan. It's a finals matchup we've seen before. But when it comes to uniform show, who wins?
Listen, again, I no disrespect to anybody. That Japanese pinstripe jersey is iconic, right? So, but if you think that I am voting for the sons of bitches that bombed Pearl Harbor, you're out of your freaking mind. It's USA, baby.
It's uniforms. We don't have to take this personal.
Drive your Prius
about
to
the
work.
uniforms.
No, I don't care. I don't care about the uniforms. It's USA all the way, baby. Done.
Japan's uniforms are so much better than the American uniforms. Again, they have something different. Their home is not the exact same home as the rest of them. Their away is not the exact same way as the other one. I will agree. I don't think their hat's great. The yellow in there is interesting, but their overall is so much better than the U.S. uniform kit. It's not close, guys. I'm sorry. If you guys are gonna just vote for the U.S. to vote for the U.S., like go for it. But like that, you cannot object to say that it's better.
I will go.
You're an idiot.
I'm lukewarm on both jerseys. I had two different jerseys making the finals. So I'm going to go Japan just because I don't care about Nike, Fanatics. They ruined the baseball jersey business. I miss Majestic. So go Mizuno. I'm not going Japan. I'm voting Mizuno for the finals.
I'm a man of consistency. Like I said, if Dominican Republic had gotten to the finals, I would have voted Dominican Republic over the United States of America between the two sets of uniforms.
I would have too.
We got here. And again, yes, there's the red. But where's this navy blue coming from? You know, why'd you guys screw up my graphic, Mizuno, with the guy's arms pointed this way? Everybody's arms are pointed down this way. I don't like that. I'm going to the United States. I'm going to the United States of America. So guess what, chat? For the first time in the history of our March Madness bracket, it's up to you. United States or Japan.
The critical thinking taught in the schools of Staten Island is really on display bracket. Here.
Shut up, Tom. Let's hear from our crowd that matters more than you ever will. The United States of America.
You don't. That doesn't even make sense.
Japan.
You fucking idiot.
What do you guys got? Let's hear it. We got the U.S. I'm going to pull that comment out. We got the U.S. We got Japan.
USA.
We got Japan. We got the U.S. We got Japan. We got the U.S. Anybody else want to get a vote in? It's currently tied 3-3. 3-3 here.
Harv put an LOL when we need a vote.
You, Colin,
wow.
You
gonna count it down.
You bet.
Do you understand what a communist is? You guys are so stupid.
America. Oh, America.
Oh my God.
That's it.
USA.
That's
it.
Imagine voting for that US.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's over. It is over. The United States of America has won the best World Baseball Classic uniform.
This is the worst thing you guys have done.
2026.
This is the worst thing you guys have done since you put Aaron Judge on the Bulls on the Bears list. This might be worse than that.
Fat boy and little fat man and little boy come in late to give US the win.
Oh my God,
Tom, you should strip that hat off and throw it out the window. You don't deserve to wear it. God damn it!
I know more about America than the rest of you guys combined. You absolute buffoons.
Team USA wins it. Hopefully not
Tom
the only time
Honda Fit.
we're going to win a WBC bracket.
I do not drive a Honda Fit. I do drive a Japanese car, though, and so does Rich.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
And so does Rich. So you know what? Get out of here.
So does Corey.
Yeah. You know what? Japanese cars are more dependable. American cars are trash.
Guess what? It
You
wasn't
know
a
what?
car bracket.
I
No
drive
damn
my
car
Dodge
bracket.
Ram, and I'll drive it straight up
We're
your
talking
ass.
beauty.
You know what?
Unbelievable.
I don't think you will. I would like to see you try though.
Corey Favs, Instagram. Let's talk Instagram and wrap this thing up.
Yeah, listen, if you're watching us right now live on Instagram, thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you for support. Again, move to YouTube. It's a better viewing experience for us to interact with you in the chats. But anyway, if you do want to follow us on Instagram, find all our meme reels, archived segments, all the shorts we're pushing to YouTube. They're going to Instagram too. We're at Empire State of Baseball. So again, all that stuff you can find over there. We're at 8,000 followers and growing. So let's try to get that push. Let's try to push it up to, why not 10K this year? Let's do it. Let's get to 1,000 on YouTube this year. Let's get to 10K on the gram. And it's up to you guys to help us do that.
This guy right here is doing a hell of a job over there on Instagram, getting a lot of our clips after the show's up too. So you guys have been seeing a lot of our clips as of late. So if you missed the show, you're not missing the best parts of the show that we're putting out there. So great job by the team here in putting out those clips. Over on X, you can give us a follow at ESB Podcast, our subsidiaries, all our accounts. There's like 9 of us associated with Empire State of Baseball through X alone, maybe with the exception of Tom, because you don't really care about that app. But we have a lot of stuff going on. Live spaces throughout the week. We'll throw up the schedule one more time. Actually, we could profile it one by one. Starting with Extra Innings, 9:30 p.m. So it's going to be going up in just a few minutes' time over on the main page at ESP Podcast. Then we have a Bronx Take Monday through Wednesday/Thursday, depending on the scheduling. That's hosted by me, Christy Evis, Sierra, and Joey over on ESP NYY. And then we have our Met Space on Fridays, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Phil from Shirley does a great job with Queens Boulevard. There's our schedule. Of course, we got some programs in the pipeline that will have
Mexico
more news
manager about to get run.
Weeks. Tom, you had something to say?
Mexico manager is about to get run. Probably is upset about how they should have advanced more into this bracket. I think if he just found out what happened.
Oh yeah, that's
he's not
100%.
He's saying Joe's an idiot. I agree.
Well, I mean, look, I'm right there with you. Now, look, when it comes to ESP programming, of course, next week we'll be back for another edition, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That's on Monday, March the 16th. We'll be back with our 2026 predictions. We do our prediction show prior to the season starting. We got that going on next week. We'll do a little bit more around the world, touch more on the WBC. But I have some really exciting news for programming, which is coming up this week. Because we wanted to take advantage of the World Baseball Classic. And we wanted to take advantage of this great series of games that have been happening, across these national teams that have been kicking ass so far. So what we're going to be doing for the first time, we're going to bring in an ESP Live episode. And usually those ESP Live episodes, you never know what we got going on. We have a trade deadline episode. We did our holiday toy drive back in December. But this one, for the first time ever, will be our first ever watch-along live stream. And I'll be there. Corey Favs will be there. But where is there? What's it there? There is City Fades Barbershop. It's actually my barber who does a great job with this head of hair. He's going to do an even better job at the end of the week. But he's a massive baseball fan. He's actually in the podcasting game. Shout out to our guy, Enrique from afar. Well, he'll be hosting this World Baseball Classic watch party live this Friday. We're actually going to be shooting for the 8 o'clock game and hope that the team that's playing in that is at least the U.S. So we're going to hope for a big game that Friday night. And, of course, that's going to be a big one for us, Corey Favs. I know you're going to be there for it. And hopefully we have a few more of our ESP family members there as well.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a good time. I know for a while we've been saying we'd love to do something live. So this will be the first crack at it. And what a perfect time to do it. With the WBC, and it's going to be the fun part of the tournament. I know right now the games could be a little bit hit or miss, some blowouts and whatnot. This is going to be very good baseball next weekend coming up. So it's going to be a fun time. Yeah,
it's going to be a great time. Looking forward to hanging out with the fellas over at City Fades Barbershop and S&P over in Staten, Italy. And we'll get to root on hopefully Team USA that night. If not, we'll get some great baseball anyway. It's a primetime game. Do a little bit of play-by-play, talk over the game. It's going to be a lot of fun, so make sure to check that out. It's going to be happening 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday the 13th. And that's going to do it for Empire State of Baseball. So let's we'll take it around the room, fellas. Thank you so much. Great show. Great tournament. Even though Tom isn't happy about it, who cares? Let's go Team USA. Let's go Team USA. And shout out to everybody who tuned in
absolutely
during. Tom,
let's go Team USA. Yeah, listen, absolutely let's go Team USA. And let's put a little bit more effort into these uniforms, these jerseys, especially these hats. Really upset with you guys for not being able to put that aside to really just vote what the best looking uniform sets are. But what can I expect with the unwashed masses from Staten Island?
Joe?
Listen, USA's up 5-0, and our boy Nolan McLean pitches tomorrow. So let's go USA.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Listen, it's a fun time for USA baseball right now, up 2-0, and then winning today's game right now, 5-0. So we'll see how it wraps up. But thank you everyone for tuning in. Looking forward to the rest of WBC. See some of you in person at our live event this Friday. So go ahead, tune in over there. But until then, we'll see you next week. Take care.